Good morning. Today we are correcting PO28. I can write proportions and solve those proportions. So down on the bottom, we did some of them together when we learned the lesson. We're just going to go over them real quick. If you watch 3 hours of TV in a weekend, how many hours can you watch in 4 weekends? You can watch 12 hours. For the famous barbecue sauce recipe, you will need 14 cups of brown sugar to make 7 batches. And for the goals, in 14 games, it would be 3.5 goals. So now this is a silly one because if you think about it, how can you make a half a goal? But it's the average. Hey, Sawyer, the screen up front has the answers, not behind you. So our attention should be up front. Let's look at our second page. How many hours of sleep do you need over a whole week? Would be 56 hours. How many days will you need to work in order to make $1,920? You would need to work 8 days. How many teaspoons do you need of the flavoring for 16-ounce bottle of water? You would need 8 teaspoons. And how long will it take you to drive to your cabin? That's 390 miles away. That would take 6.5 hours, 6.5 hours. I'm sorry, what?
Wouldn't it take 23 hours? 23,400 hours?
Is that hours or minutes?
I did that wrong. I was looking at a different question.
Okay. So any questions on the top half of our page? Okay, so we're understanding those. So you figured out you were looking at the wrong one? All right. So on the bottom, the landowner selling his land for $150 for every 4 acres purchased. How much would 18 acres of land cost? It would cost $675. How many minutes are you allowed to talk on the phone per month? We're looking at 30 days for a month. You can talk for 750 minutes. Any questions on either of those two? Because I'm hearing lots of voices. Remember, we don't do side conversations. If you have a question, now is the time to ask. Then we have our review. The greatest common factor, the GCF of 30 and 40. Remember, greatest common factor, we narrow it down to what factor buddies go into it. What's the biggest factor buddy that they share? That would be 10. LCM, remember, is the least common multiple. Multiplying up, multiply by 1, by 2, by 3. What is the biggest number they share? The least common multiple they share is 120. Now, if we want to simplify our ratio, we are going to divide it down. We can divide 12 out of both sides. So it would be 3-1. And finding that unit rate per ounce. We want to go from 36 ounces down to 1 ounce. So we are dividing by 36. And we get 42 cents. If we divide that $15.12, it's 42 cents for an ounce. When we divide down our 44 ounces down to the 1 ounce, it's 44 cents an ounce. That's all we had to do was just calculate those unit rates. So 42 cents an ounce and 44 cents an ounce. Any questions on the review? Biggest thing to remember when we go over the review after Thanksgiving, biggest thing to remember is what GCF means and what LCM means. GCF, we are doing factor buddies, breaking it down to what numbers go into it. LCM is the multiples, multiplying up. People confuse those all the time. So this was our last objective for our unit. Tomorrow is a retake day. and finishing up our Khan Academies. Next week, after Thanksgiving, Monday is the review day when we're making our help sheets. Tuesday is the practice test. Wednesday is the real test. So that's a week from now we're going to be testing on this. So make sure we don't forget it all. If you are watching this at home, remember, Khan Academy is due Tuesday night. Math packet is due on the 28th. So be working on both of those. If you're watching at home, I hope you're well. I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day.